is written all over your face. Scientific intricity you created out in space. Oh yeah.
Shalom, shalom.
You can do what you wanna do. Tampa folks, we know you're listening. You can think how you wanna think now, but you can't stop us. The truth is rising. But to lose, we refuse. I will go down without a fight. You think I can't say what you're doing to me? Yeah, you cannot defeat me, 'cause I'm out of your league. My hand on your heel, I'm pulling through, a step ahead of you. You think I can't see, you know, your power's with me.
That's right. A higher power is with us. I'm Elder Rawchaa of the Gathering of Christ Church here with our weekly Patreon update. All right. Shalom to all the brothers and sisters throughout the four corners of the earth. I hope you all are doing well. And I'm here just to give you some insight to what we'll be discussing on Patreon in a few moments, okay? We're going straight over today. We have Truman versus granddaughter, who have taken up the baton of natural healer. And she has a lot of different herbs that the Most High blessed her to come up with, tinctures that can help those who ill-advisedly follow the world's agendas for the last couple of years. Those who didn't know what to do and were pressured into getting medical procedures. Let me put it that way. So today she's going to come on and give us some insight, some information concerning those herbs that can help the body detox from the lethal chemicals that are out there that people are volunteering their bodies to. Okay? I'm going to be talking about that. And we're going to go into the fact of the matter that when it comes to the healthcare system and all those things, we must really put it out there. Not just our community, but everyone in the world, all communities, no matter what race. But us in particular, I want to talk about that. When did they ever care about our people's long-term health and safety? When? At what time? Let's just talk about the present time. In American history, did a government have our health interest at heart? Okay. All right. At what point? And we're going to talk about that today. When you go into the book of Jeremiah, I'm in the Bible. I'm going to talk about Margaret Sanger today, Planned Parenthood. We're going to talk about eugenics today, how they would use certain systems to target our people. And we're going to talk about that on Patreon. But outside of them, I don't expect the devil to heal. Only the naive would trust the devil to heal them. Right? And this is why we have an herbologist coming on our Patreon today. Job 13:4 reads, "Ye are physicians of no value. Ye are forgers of lies, and ye are all physicians of no value," right? Job was going through a lot of sicknesses, and of course he was seeking some level of health care. And he realized that physicians are limited also. Okay? They're only limited to the biology or the understanding of the anatomy, right? But they have no understanding of the spiritual component within healing. And that's why we're going to go into it today. Death today wears a white jacket, and we're going to talk about it with some real-time papers, information that you all need to see. And I'm talking about information that's coming from the National Library of Medicine. Okay, this is not a conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy. Information directly from the National Library of Medicine concerning certain inoculations. That's all I can talk about right now. But Job says, ye are physicians of no value, you're forgers of lies, and ye are all physicians of no value. And when you go to Jeremiah, the 8th chapter, right? Keep in mind, folks, wizards have turned in their black coats and pointy hats for white jackets. Jeremiah 8:22 reads, is there no balm in Gilead? Is there no physician there? Why then is not the health of the daughter of my people recovered? So even the prophets were asking back in ancient times, is there not a physician out there that can heal our people? There's physicians everywhere, doctors everywhere, pharmacies almost on every other corner. But why are our people so physically sick? It doesn't make any sense. One would think the more doctors and the more medication, the more healthy a society would become. Unless these systems were actually established for the contrary, I don't know, but maybe the National Library of Medicine can help us. We're going to go into some journals to show exactly what's in some of the stuff, and you wouldn't believe it. Hey. And we're going to have an herbologist coming behind me, right behind me, brothers and sisters, to give some insight on what to do to heal our bodies naturally. Today, live on Patreon. Job said, they are forgers of lies, physicians of no value. He was sick and dealing with all types of issues, but no doctor anywhere could heal him. Because no one tapped into the spiritual component. And see, and this is why the Most High told those who were sick, go to who? Go to those in the church. Go to the bishop. Go to the leaders of the church and confess your faults that ye may be healed. Because it's a spiritual component that leads to what? Sicknesses. There's a spiritual component. Okay? When people are I would say outright disrespectful, vengeful, vindictive, all of these things does what? Internally, it begins to turn into something spiritual that causes sickness. So in order for Christ and his disciples to heal, he said, well, no, let's not just deal with the symptoms of your current sickness. Let's discuss the actions which got us here, which got you here. How did you get sick? Who did you allow to do something to you? What are you holding against other people that have now turned into a sickness? So when Job said, ye are forgers of lies and physicians of no value, he was saying that the doctors can only seek the symptoms and use balm and healings for that without getting to the root of why sicknesses are. Sometimes they're targeted poisonings, and other times it's through our behavior that leads to certain sicknesses. and the Most High would put a thorn in your side based on that behavior that was never confessed or repented of. And we're living in a time today where doctors, pharmaceuticals are benefiting off of our unresolved issues, which turn to sickness. They have incentivized it. They've incentivized it instead of us looking into ourselves, looking at what's wrong and understanding that's why the Most High have stricken us with sicknesses. We're going to deal with that on Patreon. And this is why Job's wife even said, why don't you curse your God to death? Because she realized a doctor couldn't do anything. Obviously, she thought something was going on with Job in the spirit, which led to God cursing him. But it wasn't. He was going through a temptation moment. Okay? But they even known back in ancient times, it's our actions. It's what we hold in ourselves, our behaviors, the things from the past that actually turn into sicknesses because we won't face who we are and confess our faults and be healed. All right. Going back to Jeremiah 8:22, it reads, is there no balm in Gilead? Is there no physician there? Why then is not the health of the daughters of my people recovered? Like I said, you would think with all the doctors out here in white jackets, pediatricians and others, I mean, they got doctors waiting when our children are coming out of the womb. All the way to the time when we're put in the grave, when we're back in the ground, we're back to the dust. All of these doctors, and you would have thought that our community would be a more healthier one. Why is it not? Why is it not? First of all, because of sin against the laws of God, which turns into sickness. And then we have what? We have a corporation conglomerate which feeds on not just the sin of the people, but incentivizes from it. By only doing what? By only making medications for the symptoms. The symptoms. Let me tell you, there's no pharmaceutical company out there anywhere who is searching for cures. A cure means they're out of business. So I'm going to talk about that more. Jeremiah 8:22 reads, is there no balm in Gilead? Is there no physicians there? Why then is not the health of the daughter of my people recovered? See, the Bible asks real-time questions, logical questions, so that we can actually see these systems for what they are. If it was about health and healthcare and all these things, why are we getting more sick? Why are there childhood cancers? Something isn't adding up. Is the healthcare out there for us? Is it? Now, there are some benefits for it. Of course, if you could break a leg, get a cast. Okay. I understand that. If there's acute situations where you need some certain healings or whatever the case is, immediate, acute, if your lungs collapse, they can get your lung back. So there are good things, but we must understand what's good and what's for profit. And whether or not the overall objectives for healing today is anything like it was in ancient times. Because at one point, the doctor benefited the person they were treating, not the system benefiting from the sick, not the doctors grandizing themselves on the sick. So that and more will be discussed on Patreon. What are we going into on Patreon today? Let me show you here, if we may. One moment. This is the guy right here who's over your systems, the Baphomet, and we're going to talk about that in a moment. But let me show you what we'll be talking about on Patreon real quick. One moment. Let me get it here. Here it is. All right. Let me show you what we'll be discussing no soon as I get over to Patreon. We're going to be talking about doctors from the cradle to the grave today. It all looks good, but does death wear a white jacket? We're going to talk about that. I also have a 10-minute video that I'm going to go into with this guy here. He's a great prepper. And he's going to give us the information concerning what's really going on with our products within the United States, the scarcity of products, and what the mainstream media isn't reporting concerning the scarcity. There's a lot of things that are now gone from our supermarkets that will never return. He's going to talk about that. I'm only going to use about 10 minutes of that. I'm going to also go to the National Library of Medicine and go through some of these articles and journals concerning some of what's out there in journals that isn't being told to parents when it comes to children and the healthcare system. Okay? That and more, and we're going to have a live herbologist that's going to come on at 2:30 sharp. Truman is passing the baton. He's still doing what he's doing, but his granddaughter have come up with some serious herbal healing mixtures that most need to hear about, and you'll be able to talk with her live on Patreon as well as Blog Talk. The Blog Talk, I'm going to open up the lines for like 30 minutes so that Brittany, Truman's granddaughter, can come on and give some insight on what we can do naturally to fight these agents out there that are called, some are called medicines. Okay? Prescriptions. All right? So with that, I would like to thank you all. I hope to see you over on Patreon. Let me give you an update with what I'll be going into tomorrow. Okay, unfortunately, I wasn't there last week. I took a little break for Sabbath, but tomorrow we're going to be going into the 10 horns. The 10 horns who are really in control right now of the world's governments. Okay? Right now, you may think that the politicians and others who are in position are controlling things here in America. But no, we're living in the prophetic times of the 10 horns. The whole system for the last 2 years was being transferred from sovereign countries. Well, a lot of you didn't know that the United States of America is actually a corporation. But all of these corporations, there was a corporate takeover of all countries during the last 2 years under what they would call the plague. So all systems were being shifted. Corporate systems, employee systems, the grid that would connect all people to a currency. It wasn't just about a plague. It was a turning over of sovereignty of all countries back to the 10 horns. And I'm going to be discussing that and more tomorrow on our prophetic lesson for the Sabbath, the prophetic time of the 10 horns. Who's really in power right now, and why are they allowing America to get or to be dismantled? Babylon the Great is fallen, and it's never going to return to the glory any of us remember. Make sure you're there tomorrow, noon sharp, 12 o'clock sharp for that particular lesson. I'll also like you brothers and sisters to be there for the Hebrew and Bible Academy this Sunday, okay? I'm going into, that's right, the Babylonian mysticism within the religion Judaism, okay? I actually went and got, you probably can't find this book, but I got a hard print that I'm going to be reading tonight and marking. The original Talmud Unmasked. The secret rabbinical teachings concerning Christians. What are they really teaching in those certain religions concerning Christians? Well, I'm going to go into that and more tomorrow. That and more during the Hebrew and Bible Academy this Sunday. And you don't want to miss that. It's going to be an eye-opening, groundbreaking lesson that have never been taught anywhere on earth. What we're going to bring out now, what we brought out last Sunday with the Ark of the Covenant and how we broke it down in location and what the others were saying, and the extra biblical information to show exactly how the Ark of the Covenant will be used when it's given back to us. We've actually went into how the priesthood which was changed, and those in the church of Christ who are baptized in the original doctrine have now replaced the Levitical priesthood. And these are they who will have access to the Ark of the Throne under Christ's priesthood. And the Ark of the Covenant will be used to free the children of Israel. The way that was taught last Sunday, the way we went into it, I can guarantee you it have never been taught like that anywhere in the earth. How the Most High is going to use the Ark of the Covenant to free our people. Finally. Okay? Hey, you don't, if you're not in the academy, brothers and sisters, I'm gonna let you know outright, you are missing it. Okay? Now I'm gonna go into an academy-like lesson for tomorrow, the 10 horns and all that, but still, there's groundbreaking information with research and references. It's extra biblical text, all put together in a what? In a very nice, sleek PDF with all the information, references, everything within the PDF to confirm that everything we're telling you there is true and can be studied by every individual who are students under our academy. This coming Sunday, let me tell you, it's going to be the first time we've taught this lesson like this. The Babylonian mysticism within Judaism, you don't want to miss it. And there's a reason why the powers that be who are over all these religions aren't fighting back against the progressive evil of the New World Order. There's a reason. See, East Indians being emboldened, Asians being emboldened, they're popping up everywhere, and no one is fighting against the New World Order because they are a part of it, looking to suppress God's people in hopes of doing what? Suppressing the truth before Christ come back to actually, folks, save us and battle for us. Immigration is nothing more right now than what? Satanic reinforcements against believers, against those who believe in God. You'll see these guys popping up with those dots on their heads. You'll see them all in the stores all over the place and not realizing this is a spiritual alignment against God's people. What they're bringing in through immigration is embolden themselves under their God, Lucifer, against the righteous. But I digress. It's time to go. Let me go over to Patreon now. I hope to see you all over there. Patreon /A Gathering 144. Patreon /A Gathering 144. Thank you, Elder Dell, for placing the link for the academy in there for the first time. We're going to teach the Babylonian mysticism within Judaism to show people what's really going on in a lot of these different religions. Hey, and I'm talking about the gatekeepers' religions. High level religions that really controls modern day Christianity and lower level Islam. Okay? So, here we go. I'd like to thank you all for all your help and all you do. As you can see, again, I'd like to thank you for all your support. And if these particular broadcasts that we do weekly, Wednesday, updates, Patreon, Sabbaths, or if these particular broadcasts have helped you and your family, we do and will appreciate you continue your support for this church. Right there, if for the broadcast only, if you would like to support the church in all our efforts, you will go to you can use it. We take Cash App, $GOCC 144 donate to continue to support the weekly blogs that you see before you. Okay. Also, if you don't have Cash App, that's fine. We have PayPal. We have other means of supporting the church outside of that. Go to gatheringofchrist.org and hit on the donate button. And I'm sure there's one of those, even sending money orders or whatever the case is, if you don't use electronics like that. I'm sure there's one of those systems in place to support the church that you can utilize to help us go further in this knowledge to help our people throughout the four corners of the earth. We're broken ground in Africa. We're looking to break ground in different parts of India and different parts of the world that haven't received this knowledge on the level that America and you and I have been blessed with receiving. So your finances and how you support the church, and that goes a long way. Even though you cannot do a lot of what we're doing, but to support us is also a part of this help, okay? Your help with this ministry. With that, I'm going to say shalom. I'll see you over in Patreon /AGathering144. I'll see you on Patreon. May the Most High be with you. Stay prayed up. And yes, we are about to go in, starting with the video from this prepper. We're only going to go about 5 to 10 minutes with this, and then we'll dive in. All right. With that, see you on Patreon. And keep in mind, a higher power is with you.
Controlling me. You thought that I would stay your slave. Ain't no strings on me. Oh no, controlling us with your frequencies, making it so hard to get away. You can do what you wanna do. Tap our phones, we know you're listening. You and shot like electrical currents, so current, leaving you paralyzed. And this truth is so amplified while your ego's reduced in size. We a menace to your society, taking your kingdom violently. Bring a paddle to the battle, we can be here in a valley of an alley with the matter, it's a matter of time. They gonna move you down, you can think of a sign. I run the race until I finish. A higher power giving me the ability. Chosen people with no love of a mystery.